can't even get my brain to think like that.
Strap in, this is a long one. You may have heard the story of the carpenter who died to redeem humanity's sins. It's a powerful story, bittersweet. That it's true. He was a real person, and his name was John. John Carpenter. He was born in the year 1948, and he was the coolest filmmaker to ever walk the earth. From Halloween to The Thing to They Live, the totally underrated In the Mouth of Madness, mind you, he just made classic after classic. All of his movies, really fun, really atmospheric, but also really... Even when they were goofy, most directors would kill to have made just one of those movies. And what did he get for it? A big, fat truckload of nothing. Well, less than nothing. The studios, the critics, even the fans, they hated him. The Thing, okay, for example, which is about as perfect a movie as you can make, completely torn to shreds. And his career never really recovered. Every movie after that was a struggle, and after a while, he just got tired of it and quit. He only really came back to movies in his 70s. How many works of genius did we never get because of that? Look, I have a point here. People like Carpenter, people like Alex, they're not always appreciated in their own time. If you just do what's popular, you might never create anything important. Of course, we admire people who did the right thing, who didn't conform, but we only ever admire them after the fact. What matters is to support people when it's difficult.
For tricking the gods to help humankind, Prometheus was punished by being bound to a rock, there to be eternally tormented. The chains that held him were forged by Hephaestus, blacksmith to the gods. Was Hephaestus right to allow his art to be used in this fashion? And why was it for lowly, lame Hephaestus to make this choice, and not mighty Zeus? Then none but oracles can create without fear. As you continue your journey to the flame, remember Hephaestus and the burdens of the blacksmith.
Is holding. Solve the puzzles, enter the tower, speak to an entity, turn on the beam. It's like she's appealing to our past, reminding us of where we came from, but changing enough elements to make us view our history through a different lens. Or maybe I'm completely missing the point. I don't know. You might have something there.
I read about this in a book. It's called defamiliarization.
You could? I think I'm actually impressed.
How can I help you? Then at least we may be able to find out what happened in New Jerusalem, why she came here. But I don't think she left the island. I think she's still here, waiting for us to make the right choices. It would be nice if something good happened for once, wouldn't it? Okay. How many robots does it take to change a light bulb? Replacing a light bulb is a waste of resources, and the founder would be outraged. You know, Herman had the same reaction. Herman? Honestly, I think he makes people feel safe. The world beyond our walls is frightening. Human history is full of failures and disasters. It's easy to look at that and recoil. Herman offers a vision of the future that feels contained, manageable. Precisely. Our curiosity, our creativity, our ability to grow. Everything that made us who we are. To me, that's not worth it. I think every single human being is completely unique, and every instance of consciousness is a miracle. The more of us there are, the more alive the universe is. And the more we all interact with each other, the more complex the life of the universe becomes. So I believe that people are a fundamental good. I don't believe we're all flawless, but I think every one of us matters precisely because nothing else does. In the principle of it, no. It's not just that I believe humanity is fundamentally good, although I do. It's that I think sentience is the foundation of everything else. What's the point of stars and galaxies, of hills and forests, without someone to perceive them? But my faith that we can actually grow up, that we can break out of these loops and take control of our destiny, that's something I struggle with every single day. Could be, yes, of course. All technology has the potential to be misused, from fire and the wheel to whatever makes these particle clouds. But that doesn't mean it has to be. Because they refused to grow up. They refused to take control of their lives. They let bureaucrats and financiers determine their destiny, and those people could not think beyond themselves, beyond the tiny, insignificant moment they were trapped in. Their technology could have saved them, but what really failed them was their imagination. Look, self-reflection is important, but only thinking about yourself, your inner identity, becomes narcissistic. You exist, whether you like it or not, in a dialectical relationship with the world. Identity has no meaning without society, and society has no meaning without the individual. It's in that tension that we really come into being. Athena was always trying to understand the reality underneath what we perceive, the objective truth. That's why she was capable of leaving the simulation. And even after she was free, she never stopped trying to understand more. I suspect her research took her another step closer to understanding the truth. And such steps always challenge our conception of the universe. But that's the wonderful thing about science. We can adapt our views to the evidence. In the sense of an interventionist deity? No. I wouldn't rule out the possibility. Believe, but I do think there is something genuinely sublime in this universe, and it's right in front of us. The fact that this sense of self is even possible, that an arrangement of matter can produce a self-aware mind? Think about it. It's a fundamental property of the universe, an unbreakable law that matter has the inherent capacity to become more than the sum of its parts. That is the definition of transcendence.
You should be headed towards an island off the northern coast. The terrain's pretty rough, so be careful.
The island has another island attached to it.
Yes? It has several, actually.
How irritating.
What?
What the?
In the beginning, before we built New Jerusalem, we used to explore just like this. Small groups setting out for the horizon, looking for resources, trying to make sense of the world we'd been thrust into, trying to find a way forward. It was a hard time, but I can't deny that it was also exciting. I think it's part of our nature to be wanderers. Our ancestors crossed entire oceans on flimsy wooden boats, just to see what else there was.
Is it weird to feel nostalgic for a time I never experienced? I just think I could have contributed so much more back then.
It's not weird, but it wasn't all sunshine. People died. Yemo, Calvin, Isaac.
I know, Al. They were family to me.
Sorry, it didn't mean to reopen old wounds.
It's a legitimate point, but I don't think it invalidates the sense of wonder we felt. That's what kept us going.
1K. I've been watching replication tech. It's incredible. It just casually blows up the very foundations of our society. You can say that again. Making even just one of us is bloody hard. We're not like toasters. You don't just weld together a couple of wires and a motherboard and call it a day. Not to mention how hard it is to even find some of the materials. And this thing just, poof, new human. It was. Or was it? And even if it was, sorry to be heretical, but does it matter? If we can figure out how this works, we can finally, easily create more people. We can grow. We can expand. We can build a real civilization. Isn't that worth pursuing? I don't have a poetic circuit in my body, but that's exactly right. People get on my nerves, but without them, the world is boring. Yes, people cause problems, but even the problems they cause are interesting. Don't tell anyone I admitted this, but why do you think I do this job? Without people to populate the universe, what's the point? Anyway, we all need to think about what this means. Glad you and I are more or less on the same page.
Hey 1K, how can I help you? I'd never heard of it before, but it sounds fascinating. I mean, imagine exploring a place inside yourself that you didn't even know existed. Might really give you a new perspective. Or it might be really stupid, but it's probably cool. I don't know. It all looks pretty abandoned to me. But maybe it is all a test. I don't get involved with that. I think we should discuss everything openly and then vote, not play games behind each other's backs. I don't know. Sometimes I'd like to believe that everything happens for a reason, that there's some external force that gives us purpose and meaning. But then I think about all the horrible things that happen to people, and I can't accept that those things were meant to happen, that they couldn't have been avoided. So in that sense, I agree. We should find our own meaning. But to be completely honest, I find it hard to just impose meaning on the world. I'm not as driven as someone like Byron. I feel more moved by Miranda's recordings than by my own ideas. I like that. Some of us lead, some of us follow, but we all do it together.
This body replication technology is proof of just how vital this expedition is. We may not know how it works and what its limitations are, but the technology itself isn't even what really matters. What matters is to expand our imagination, to realize that other futures are possible. I'm glad you see it that way too, 1K. After all, the world is better with you in it, isn't it?
What can I do for you, 1K? It seems like something that could very quickly get out of control. You know that saying about good intentions? If we can solve problems by just making more people, How long before people just become a problem-solving tool? Sure. I think there's plenty inside each of us to explore, and it might give us a new perspective. Will it really answer all the big questions? I don't know, but it might help.